Twitter sent out, posted in Discord, and we should be good after I walk on screen. And it's our thing to be coding today. So, hello everyone, this is Chris Ingerson, and it is, I don't know why I was going to say February again. Apparently I just really like February this year. It's not April either. Wow, it's May 8th, and today is the May 8th TextQuest Devstream. So, today we are going to be, I'm going to put in massive quotation marks, finishing our combat refactor. Specifically, we're going to be focusing on finishing the core combat loop. That much I think we can get done. We still have some work to do with regards to hooking up our system to actually show damage being done, so hooking into the UI a little bit more. And we also need to set up, well, not so much set up because it already kind of exists. We need to test things like setting specific variables in session, so your save state, so that you could unlock special combat options. And then, of course, we have to figure out, is that something that can only be done once or twice? Well, can it be done a finite amount of times, or is it just something you can do every time once you have that that particular flag set? So we're probably not going to get into that tonight. Instead, like I said, we're going to be focusing on the combat loop. And specifically, we're going to be focusing on the multiple type. So currently we have everything set up to work with single type, where when a offense section happens, or when a attack section happens, you're shown however many number of actions have been set up at their given transform values, and if you select that given action, it will perform the expected attack. Now, oh, interesting. Oh, right. That's the hazard stuff. Now that all works, but we need to set up support for the multiple type, which is a little bit more complicated. With a single type, once you make a selection, so once you type in a label, then your choice is made, and it will wait for the rest of the offense or defense sections in that given track to complete before we move on to the next section. With multiple attacks, you have an arbitrary number of attacks that can happen, and their placement can also be somewhat difficult. So we need to, what would be the best way to say this? We have to come up with a way to spawn an arbitrary number of attacks. It won't fail if you miss one of them, because with multiple attacks, you are more building combos than you are making a path selection. And we basically need to figure that all out and come up with a system that allows me to have hand-placed positioning. So, hello Scorpio! Welcome back! It's been a while. How have you been? So one of the things I started working on here, you can see I have this animation curve. And the idea is that this curve will actually drive our spawning points, or not our spawn points, but our attack count. So you can see that I have 3 values up here that are at 1. That means I have 3 attacks that will happen. I have some approaches that I want to use to place the labels, but I haven't actually gotten around to doing that yet. And I've been thinking about what the best way to approach that would be. But there's some other things that I want to do to get this attack curve working the way I would expect. Because the reason I've chosen to use The reason I chose to use a curve instead of just having an attack count is because if I just had a raw int value that I set, like I was going to have 6 attacks, then I would have to assume that they were evenly spaced, and that's not necessarily what I want. So by having it be a curve, I can manually drag these curves around and do weird stuff. But it also just lets me have a little bit more fine-tuned control over when things spawn. Let's go ahead and close that. Pretty good. How about yourself? Well, like I always say, we'll see how this Devstream goes, but I've been pretty good overall. Lot of deadlines coming up, so I'm kind of in pseudo crunch mode right now, trying to get the combat system refactor done, because I really want to have this combat system done so I can test it out next weekend. But we'll see. That might end up being a 1 month from now thing. So I was hoping I could show it. I'm going to be next weekend. I'm going to be up in up near Chicago for Anime Central. And I was hoping I could have the combat system refactored by then, but if that doesn't end up happening, I will have it done and refactored and implemented by PopCon this year. So probably PopCon will be where that test case ends up getting shown off. But in any case, so one of the things that I would like to do is I would like to set this curve up so that it can automatically be adjusted. Currently, I have to hand position all of these, and it would be nice if I could just punch in like attack count 4, and then it would automatically say, okay, I'm going to redo this curve so that it has 4 equidistant points, and then I can just drag them around to what I want after that. And let's go ahead and open up our script. So all of this has to be done in the editor, just because the functions necessary for setting animation keyframe tangents are editor only for some reason, which I guess I kind of see that, but so I have to work with that limitation. It means that we have to do all this in the editor script, but it shouldn't be too bad. Pumped for PopCon. I'm curious. I need to contact them and ask them what their plans are this year, if they're going to actually put things together, because last year was pretty bad. Exclusive merch, huh? I'll have to figure something out. It's hard to say. Usually at PopCon I have T-shirts, and then typically as I go later in the year, I'll give out whatever T-shirts I didn't give away at PopCon. But I don't know. I need to figure out good merch. I haven't really, besides the T-shirts, I haven't really done merch that I'm happy with. I have mouse pads, and those are kind of okay, but like the other thing I have is just freaking coasters, and that's just not great. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to say editor GUI dot begin change check. Say if editor GUI dot end change check. Put that there. Okay, then we're going to come down here, and we're going to say, what do I want to do here? I guess we'll have a function, public void reinitialize attack curve. So we'll go ahead and do that. And then we're going to say animation curve, not calling type, curve is equal to new animation curve. And pretty much for all of this, we're going to say, actually this is going to be fun. We're going to say float curve spacing is equal to, I think it's going to be m attack count dot int value. That's not going to quite be right. We instead want to say 1f divided by the float version of that. And then we are going to say, actually, -1. I have to do that because of how the curve is actually separated. If you look at our attack curve, that is supposed to be with 3. Yeah, I know it says 4 for attack count. But with 3, that means you have 6 points, which means that you actually have 5 points between them. Or 5 spaces between 6 points. And the reason that we have to do it that way is because I want to make sure that I don't ever have 2 frames of this curve that are side by side and both valued at 1, because that would mean that 2 labels spawn at the same time, and that's really weird. So it'll all come together, and I'll explain it once this reinitialize attack curve is done. Or I'll be completely wrong. One of those two. You need to do like pins or badges, one for beta tests if you do them, play testing at conventions, pre-ordering and such. Yeah, that wouldn't be a bad idea. I've thought about doing things like buttons, and the reason that I really haven't is just because I've been too lazy to print everything out and then punch everything or set everything up. So we'll see what I can come up with. Because PopCon is it's about a month away now, I think. I think it's June 7th, I believe, or sometime around there. So we'll see what I can come up with by then. Okay, So with this, we have our curve spacing. That's the gaps, or the amount of space between each keyframe. So we're going to want to say for int I equals 0, I is less than m attack count dot int value I plus plus. We're going to say curve dot add key, new keyframe, and that's going to be at, actually, you know what, I guess I don't have to do that. I can just say it's going to be at float time curve spacing times I, followed by, oh, right. So I think it's going to be I modulo 2. No. I modulo 2 is greater than 0? Question mark. If so, we're going to say 1f. Otherwise, we're going to say 0f. I think that's correct. No, it's not, because... Oh, actually, so I would want to say I modulo of 2 is equal to 1? Or no, equal to 0, right? If it's equal to 0, that means that it's... Wait, hold on. 0, 1, 2... No, that's not right. Instead, I want to say... Oh, no, that's right. If it's equal to 0, then 1f. No, it's not. Dang it. Okay, how about this? It's not equal 1. Yes, that's correct. Let's see. Do that. Okay. And then we're going to say m attack curve dot curve value is equal to curve. And then after that, we'll say linearize attack curve. Okay. That should work. Question mark. So we're going to say initialize attack curve. Go ahead and let that go. June 8th through the 10th, so it's exactly 1 month away. Okay. Yeah, I'm actually a little worried. It's a month out, and I haven't gotten any emails about it. Like, they haven't really told me much about load-in or anything. I know that load-in this year is different from previous years, but they haven't really reached out to me to talk to me about it. So I don't know what's going on. Hopefully it won't be too bad. Alright, so we're going to try this. Let's see what happens. That's almost right. That's completely wrong. I need to do that backwards. Hold on. Did that wrong. Okay. So we're going to say times 2. Let's try that out again. Problem was that I gave it the exact number of the curves. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 5 attack curves. Or 5 attack count, but it's not actually correct. So now if I do it, if I do 4, it should give me 8 points. And hold on. Boom! There we go. So we always start with an attack. So as soon as we start, we want to be at 1. Then we go back down to 0. We have no attacks going on until our next curve here. Then none. Another attack. And so on. And then we end with... Oh, that's not right. Oh, dang it, I did it again. I did that incorrectly. Hold on. Here we are. Times 2. Right? Let's see, that would be 10. Yes. So let's try that. My spacing was off. It's off because you can see if we look at our curve, we're reaching into the 2 values for our horizontal values. We want to make sure that's clamped between 0 and 1. Otherwise, we'll get weird stuff. The Star Wars plan thing? I don't know if I remember that. This 5. Clamp between 1. Hooray! Same thing, but clamp between 1 now. So... that a little bit bigger. So nice. We have this automatically adjusting, which is always a good thing. Let's go ahead and close this. I am going to change this. So I have an attack count being calculated here, this is based on the number of single digit, or not single digit, keyframes that are at or above 1 on our curve here. And I would like this attack count to feed back into this one, so I can adjust this by adding another keyframe, and it would automatically increment the attack count, basically. Let's go ahead, and we're going to say... let's go come down here. Say attack curve, get our value, attack count plus plus. That's perfectly fine. So what I need to do here is say, at the end here, if attack count does not equal m attack, not curve, count dot int value, then we're going to say m attack curve count dot int value is equal to attack count. Okay, we're going to get rid of this. And I was doing a bunch of calculations here to figure out what my average time between each attack would be, but I don't actually need to do that. Instead, I just need to have a field that I can use for specifying how long the attack should last. Let's see, you had to go the first 2 days, and the first day you registered, you got the Death Star plan. Second day, they had stormtroopers walk around, they caught you, and you lost, but if they never got the plans from you, then you got some prize. Oh, that's pretty cool. Did you have to wear like a badge saying that you were participating, I assume? Just because I feel like there would be a lot of stormtroopers walking around PopCon. And it would be really easy for them to just stop everyone. Well, it wouldn't be easy, but I could see them stopping everyone. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add a new keyframe here. Put that to here. And then we're going to have a new keyframe here. We're going to move that down to 0. Hit X there. Okay, so that's not working. Attack count, curve keys. I'm surprised that people didn't get hurt. I would assume that if they saw you, you would kind of like try to run away. And I feel like that would be a bit hectic in a crowded area like PopCon. Okay, so if we do this, then maybe we have to do... how do I want to handle that, actually? Maybe I should mark that with this. Go ahead and say editor GUI dot begin change check. If editor GUI dot end change check. Let's go ahead and do this, I guess. So we're not going to need this anymore. Get rid of all of that. I guess I'll comment it out for now. Get rid of you. Let's move all of this, like all of this, into here. And see if that works. Let's put in a debug so I can know that it's getting called. And then if it still doesn't update properly, like if it doesn't say I have 6, then that must mean that I need to be a little more explicit and force it to be dirty, probably. Okay, that makes sense. They probably don't want people running around doing all sorts of who knows what. Edit key, we're going to set our value to be 1. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it does properly update our attack count. Let's click off of this, come back over here, let's click off of this, I'm going to hit save. Then we're going to turn off our preview, select something else in the scene. Let's go back to our timeline, make sure that that's all still there. I did all that just so that I would make sure that it wasn't caching that value and just going to reset it. Cool. So now we can set our attack count manually by typing it in. So if I want this to have 4, it'll create 4 equidistant ones, or please tell me that that is undoable. It is not. Okay, so that means I need to do that. So before we progress, because I don't want to accidentally be able to do this, I am going to register or do undo registration here. which is a very weird thing, and I never do this. Undo dot. Let's see if I can do this. I think I want to say record object. Then I want to say asset, right? And then I want to say reinitialize attack curve. Okay, so let's save that. And the reason I had to add that is because I want to make sure that if I change my attack count and I don't like it, that I can Control Z and go back. Currently, it won't do that. It'll undo the attack count number being messed up, but it won't undo the curve being reset. Although maybe it will. Okay. Timeout. Let's make sure that it's not just Unity being weird. It could be because the curve just straight up didn't update, in which case, false alarm? Yeah, I mean, I do like when they have, what is it, like scavenger hunt type deals where you go to specific booths and get stamps and all that. I think that's a really good way for them to encourage foot traffic in specific areas. I don't know if they'll actually do that again this year. It would be very nice if they did. Let's go ahead and do that. We're going to say Control Z. Okay. Let's set you to be 4. Okay, so we're at 6. I'm going to click off. Click back on. Oh, you suck, Unity. I'm going to try this. So I'm going to try having the undo in there. This is actually an issue that I've run into before, and I never fixed it before. It has something to do with Unity's editor GUI not updating specific fields. It seems to handle basic fields like int values and strings all right, but anything like, what is it? Well, animation curves, evidently, or gradients, those just don't update until you click off and rebuild the editor. And it's incredibly frustrating that that's how that works. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and say 4. Then we're going to undo. Interesting, and it just doesn't do it, huh? Okay, that's really annoying. So we're going to get rid of this undo. I don't have to do that. That's just part of it. Okay. Really frustrating, but whatever. So we have attack curves and counts interacting with each other as expected. Moving attack curves around will not reinitialize attack count unless, well, I mean it will if we create more that are above or at 1. Changing our attack count will create new attacks at equidistant values across the board. Supports an arbitrary number of them, so I can say 1, does that. If we want, we can do Control Z. Unfortunately, I do have to do that. So if I say 1, that. So it does restore the curve. It just needs to be rebuilt, which is incredibly infuriating. Ah! I hate it when it does that. I know I have a huge stack of worthless indie popcorn trading cards from last year. Yeah, I honestly think it would be cool if there was like an app that they had that you could actually unlock stuff in, but that would probably take way more effort time than they can put in. Okay, so we're going to click off and click back on. Unity, why do you do this to me? I just don't know a way of refreshing that. It's really sad that's the case. So, alright. Let's go ahead and we're going to say, I think we're good with the actual generation, so the curve itself. Now we need to figure out how and where to spawn these things. And so with single type, we use the actions, so we generate based off of these. But I don't know if we want to do that for our multiple type, because multiple types are meant to be like wave based. They're just meant to be a lot of them. You can miss some. If you get all of them, then you get a perfect score. But you can miss some as long as you type at least one attack in multiple types or in the type multiple, then it will succeed. You might not do a ton of damage, but it'll succeed. And I don't. The problem is that with the multiple types, I think it would be better for it to have a random assortment of words that it could use, and then a random set of positioning. So similar to what our current combat system does, where it just spawns random attacks in a given area. We would probably want to do something like that, but I'm not sure if we want to do it exactly the same, where we use a rect transform and just kind of get random points inside of it, or if we want to do, I don't know, just a list of transforms and then it randomly picks one that's not in use. Ugh, that could get messy. I actually think it would be better if we were to just get a do what we do now, get a rect transform, spawn a label anywhere inside of that rect transform, and then use rect bound checks to make sure that they're not overlapping one another. I think that will work. So that means that we then need to change our actions here. Oof. To be something a little different. Well, time out. Let me think. Am I ever going to want to have criteria? Jeez, that is... and you know what else? I don't know if I even want to specify the words you use, because those should probably be specified by the weapons that you do or do not have equipped. So if you don't have anything equipped, you might get the words like punch, kick, bash, I don't know, headbutt. Pretty much, standard melee stuff. But if you have a sword equipped, then it should probably do stuff like slash, cut, poke, or probably pierce. And of course, we need to be careful that we don't use words that start with the same letter. Same stuff that we do pretty much now. But yeah, this does get a little more complicated. I wouldn't think that I would need criteria for multiple attack. Excuse me. Don't know why I'm yawning. I would think that we would just want the spawn points, basically. Then we would have to pick appropriate words based on what you had equipped. Oof. Alright. Oh, I also just realized, looking at my Twitch page, for some reason it says I have 0 views. That's probably not great. I mean, like 0 total views. Like, Let's see. You need to have flail and have it do nothing. Just have the letters, like, shake a little bit. Let's see, we're going to go ahead and minimize these. So if we use multiple, I don't need actions. Let's go ahead and go up to the action section. And we're going to say if type dot int value is equal to int attack type, what is it, combat attack, I don't know. Let's see. Here we are. Attack section type, that's what I did. Oof. Can't quite get this right. There we are. I'm going to say single, then we will show the attack. And let's see, fade it. Alright, I think we're good. Oh, and actually, you know what? I am going to also change this so it says... let's get over here. I'm going to say if... Well, it's still wrong. Because I started separating the wrong things. And actually, you know what? Hold on. Get a few things in order here. If fail, not rail, fail on an action dot bool value. We're going to do this stuff. No reason to draw these if they're not going to be used. We'll say if follow target dot bool value, and we'll draw this. Basically setting these up so that they won't be shown if they're not set to be used. Okay. So one of the things, speaking of PopCon and all that, one of the things that I was thinking about doing for swag would be handmade like caricatures, not of the players obviously, but like I don't know, like basically construction paper and very carefully designed small framed photos almost just of the characters from the game. So we would have like Hero in red construction paper cut out in such a way that it matches the font and placed and maybe has items and all that. Have that framed and then maybe have it signed by me. I don't know if that would be cool or not because it would be pretty simplistic and minimalistic, but I don't know. I think there's something charming about that very basic approach to what would be, I guess, a piece of art. Question mark. Um, but I don't know if people would be interested in something like that. It's just an idea that I've had in the past. Because I would also like to experiment with different styles of doing that. Basically the same thing. It's just obviously text, but having it stylized, like maybe have one follow calligraphy formats, one having construction paper cutouts, one following oh, what is it? There's a term for really, really fancy penmanship, but I forget what it is. Basically, think like old Gregorian monks writing down the fancy T on the. Something like that could be pretty good. But, okay. So now if I turn that off, cool, those go away. If I turn that off, it goes away, cool. If we go to single, then we get actions. If we go to multiple, we don't get that. All right. So the next thing we want to do is, instead of actions, we're going to need a rect transform. That is going to be our spawn point, I guess. That's going to be weird. Oh, that's going to be really weird, isn't it? Okay. So let's go ahead and let's go to phase 3. Actually, because that's where this is going to be done. So in phase 1, I'm going to go ahead and select my initial timeline. I'm going to set this to single, because everything there is what we would expect. And I'm going to go ahead and reset these values, because we don't need them right now. So single. Everything is good. Everything looks good. Fail priority 0. Okay, we're good. Go ahead and save this. We're going to go to our phase 3 setting. Phase 3. And phase 3 is actually pretty much the same for all cases. There's not really a left phase 3 or a right phase 3. There's just a main phase 3. So let's go ahead and call this final timeline. Okay. We're going to add a playable to this. Playable director. I'm not going to do anything with this. We do need to find our timeline assets. We're going to say create. It's all the way down here. It's somewhere weird. There it is. Might just get posters made instead of hand-cut construction paper. Posters would be fun too. That's true. I was mostly just thinking of stuff that, like, I wanted to make something that you would only be able to get at a convention. Because things like posters, I feel you could order online. But I feel like having something that I personally made for conventions would be a little bit more enticing, I think. I don't know. I'm still hashing those ideas out. Troll combat. Relaxed. Why do I keep saying relazed? Relaxed. Final, I guess. Final attack, maybe. That's probably good. Up here. All of these timelines that currently exist are only used for phase 1 of the... Or not phase 1. Yeah, phase 1. For phase 1 of the troll combat. I would still have phase 2, which basically doubles my animation workload. Oh my god. Actually, no, it won't. No, it won't. Because they're the same. It's just that phase 2 has hazards. Right. Okay, never mind. So, never mind, false alarm. It's more of a 1.25 multiplier instead of 2. Let's go ahead and drag this in. We're going to say troll combat relax final attack. All right, let's add track group. Call this cameras. another track group for characters. Another track group for attacks. Go ahead and go up here. We're going to add a playable track. Say, look at target script. Let's add an attack section. We're going to add an offense section clip. We'll add a Cinemachine track here. Cameras, drag in our main camera. Add a Cinemachine shot clip, which will be our, let's see, I guess that would be, oh, frack, really? Yeah, shoot. I would need to blend just between the, that sucks so hard. How can I reduce that? Let's see. Well, the poster thing, I would get them made and then number and sign them, but like if you cut them yourself and glued it, then it would kind of seem cheaply made and might make some people not want to buy them. If posters made and signed and number, it looks more professional. You can only sell them at cons. True. And when I say cut out, I don't mean like, you know, cut out, paste with glue sticks, and then just slap a signature on there. It would probably be something that was like small, framed. I wouldn't give it away if it looked cheap. Because I have an idea. I probably should just make a test case and then post some pictures and see what people think. Because I think it could be cool, just because it has that not surreal, but that sense of like hand effort put into it. But posters definitely would be a nice clean way to go, though. I just would need to pick what I would want to put on a poster. Not sure what I would do there. There are a couple of, I guess, good shots, but I'd have to pick them out. Okay. So we are going to want to go from... Oh, man, I got to support both left and right hazards. Jeez, that's complicated. Okay. I could have transitionary ones. That would kind of be a cheat. But okay, I think I know what I would want to do here. So we would normally have a Cinemachine shot that we then crossfade between. Let's go ahead and set our end time to be 1 second long. And that's what we're still going to do, except I have to approach it a little bit more cleverly. Because that Cinemachine shot could lerp from either the left camera, the right camera, or the left hazard camera, or the right hazard camera. That's 4 different cameras, but I can only set one value here. Which means that I need to instead have another timeline that plays as like an intermediary between them. And then that timeline will play the final timeline. So we have like a little bit of a buffer, basically. That would be the easiest thing I could think to do. Especially because all I would be doing for that basic timeline is just a Cinemachine shot. It shouldn't really be too bad beyond that. Let's go ahead and add a set Cinemachine camera clip. Set this to start at all 3 seconds. Okay. And before we do anything else, let's go ahead and we're going to save this. I'm going to add some new virtual cameras. So we're going to say 3D object. Really? Cinemachine doesn't have a shortcut? That's kind of annoying. Because I got to do that. Okay, we're going to do nothing, do nothing. We're going to call this one relaxed. I don't need to do relaxed, it's all going to be the same. So we'll say phase 3. Oof. Temp camera. So let's go ahead and we're just going to... Wow, that is not at all what I wanted to do. Let's see, where are you? Phase 3 temp camera. Now we're going to just move this up a little bit. We're going to rotate this about 90 degrees the other way. Oh, no, that's about right. It's just because it's flat. Let's see. What you need to do is have 6 limited edition posters signed, 1 for each color of the hero. And then, like, you only have 1 red hero and blue and so forth, and sell them as super collector's items. Well, see, that's the thing. I don't want to sell them. because if I sell them, then I have to get merchants and vendor licenses and all that. And I would really just prefer to give them away for playing the game. And how I normally do that at these conventions are, you'll sit down and play the game, and if you beat the high score, one of the high scores for the day, like if you get more treasures than anyone else has today, or if you type less words than everyone else has that day, or if you're the first person to play that day, then usually I'll give you some sort of swag, and it's a way for me to encourage people to come see me because it's cool and I give stuff out, and I would still like to do like the poster idea. I do like it, but I don't think I would want to sell it. I think I would want to give it out for, like, at the end of the day, if they remember to come back, then they can have a signed poster if they had the high score still. Um, but that would be pretty cool. Um, Although I would have to get like a white marker, wouldn't I? Because most of the designs that I can think of for that would probably involve dark backgrounds so that the colors can pop a little easier. And that means that I need to have a white marker because black would probably just get absorbed by the background. Okay, anyway, we're going to go ahead and set up another timeline as well. So I need to, for phase 3, I need to actually have 5 timelines, but 4 of them are basically going to be the same thing, and they're only going to last for probably half a second. Probably, oh my god, am I really going to make like 1 frame things? Oh man, that is going to be the weirdest thing ever, but okay. So let's go ahead and create timeline. I call this troll combat dash final attack temp. Okay, let's go ahead and create a new value here. Make this have a capital T. Make this called our transition. Okay. Add playable director, get rid of you. Let's see, final attack temp. Okay. I guess I should probably just call that transition. Buy the blue one, huh? I take it that blue is your favorite color then. Let's see, we're going to go ahead and say transition. Let's go to our timeline. We're going to do a track group. And this is going to be our cameras. So this is going to be really weird because I need to do a Cinemachine track group. I need to add a playable track, and then I have to add another playable track. And we're going to say add Cinemachine track clip. At set Cinemachine clip. And then hang on. Where are all of my other things? Like, I should have more clips than this. That's odd. For example, I should have I think, parent transform. I guess it's parent player. Like, that doesn't exist here on the playable track, which is odd. I wonder why. I wonder if it's because it's... No. 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 Why would they do it like that? Oh, you're kidding me. So, timeline might not work with assembly definition files. Oh, no way. That's really painful. Okay. Honestly, it doesn't matter, but I'm a creature of habit and I've always put blue. That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I mean, I always put green because that's my personal favorite. Even though I think for the most part, promotional materials always use red for this because red is a very striking, heroic color. Although I admit, I feel like that's really frustrating because the wizard is also red. And that's because I couldn't make him blue because blue is not really viewed as a bad color. It's viewed as a heroic color as well. But it's very annoying to do that because now I have the main character and the antagonist both red. That's not a good thing normally, and it's not a good thing here. But in any case, so I don't actually want to do parent. Instead, I want to say, does position the clip have a target? It does tell me that you are transform. Target does not equal no. Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and add a new timeline script here. And we're going to need... It's not going to be under attack. It's going to be under Cinemachine, I guess. Let's go ahead and create a folder for this. So we'll say set Cinemachine camera. Create another folder, and we'll say it's not going to be under Cinemachine really either. You know what? Maybe this should just be under our common stuff. Let's go up here to timeline. Let's go to scripts. That's a good question, actually. Do I have anything for... Okay, there we go. There are a lot of tracks and all that. That's better. Although that's actually not better in the sense of like adding clips. That is so frustrating. Plot twists, they're related. It's going to be challenging for me to do any sort of plot twist there because they don't... You don't really have dialogue outside of conversation. Like, people don't just randomly talk in cutscenes for the most part. But that would be pretty funny, though. Okay, so I'm going to add... Let's see, transform, move, transform. Does this already have one, then? Target, destination, key, local space. No, this just moves it. Target, transform to move the target to... Yeah, this is exactly what I want. Okay, so if I just do this then, that's really annoying. I can drag it in manually, but I can't actually add the clip because it's just not being detected. Thanks, Unity. So assembly definition files make timeline clips not be readable by Unity. Why are you so crap? Okay. Well, that's very annoying. Especially because I probably want this to change a little bit. So let's go ahead and say we're going to add we're going to work on move transform clip. I'm going to work on the behavior as well. And what I'm assuming is happening here, yep, we're lerping it. Okay, that's what I thought. So we're going to change, we're not going to change actually, we're going to add a value here. We're going to say serialized field, private, bool, lerp over time, move over time is equal to true. And we'll say tooltip, if true, movement will be evaluated over time. If false, will move into place on as soon as the clip starts. Okay. Let's go over here. We're going to need a public bool, not boo, bool, move with, or move over time. Time is equal to true. Okay. So what we're going to want to do here is say on behavior play, target does not equal null. We are going to say if not move over time. We're going to do something. And then down here in prepare frame, we're going to say if application not is playing and target does not equal null and move over time. Okay. Otherwise, we're just going to say this, I guess. Target position. I guess it's just going to be this, isn't it? Target position. Boop. Same thing here. Alright. I guess that's true. It's always going to be target position, so I don't even need to... Oh, no, I lied. I do need that. Okay. So I'm going to go up here. Set you. Get rid of this. Set you. Okay. Save. And we should be good there. I am going to go ahead and rename these so that they are private instead of public. No reason for them to be public. And serialize field. Aha. Let's see. Put you there and there. Nice. Okay. So that should properly serialize everything. Of course, we need to say behavior dot move over time is equal to move over time. Cool. So now we should be able to move our camera into position. So I had to do that because I want to, in this very, very short timeline that I duplicate basically 3 times and have them all last pretty much 3 frames, I need to set my Cinemachine shot. I need to move the Cinemachine virtual camera to the expected position. And then at the end of it, I need to start another cutscene. So, whew, all sorts of things happening. Let's go ahead and add a track group from common, which would be our cutscene track. We're going to add play cutscene clip, and it is going to play final timeline. Well, that's odd. Okay, let's go ahead and wait. How long is my final timeline? Oh, it was that long. Good. Okay. So it'll automatically adjust size. We're gonna rename this to set Cinemachine shot move Cinemachine camera. Okay. So let's go ahead and grab this. Our target is going to be temp camera. This is rather annoying, but this transition is going to be specifically for the left. So it's going to be to the left camera. It's not going to move over time. And because of that, I kind of want these things to go away. But I don't really have a good way of hiding those. Unless I can do this. We'll see. Let's go ahead and say we'll check move over time. Expecting that to be true. Let's go ahead and copy that. Oops. Wrong one. Aha! So now those should go away. I think they'll be fine. At least I hope they will. I just don't like having things be shown in the editor when we're not actually using them. That tends to drive me nuts. So now they should just disappear. Uh-oh, got a null reference. That's never a good thing. Come on, Unity. I believe in you. Okay, wow. Wow. Really? Okay. Interesting. Catch position is equal to target position. Oh, that was so that I could put everything back. Right. So I guess I would just do this. Get rid of you. Yeah, that's fair. Oh, crap. I don't need... Let's see, get rid of this. I don't need my test debug that I was shooting out there. Get rid of you and get rid of you. Ta-da! Alright. Let that compile. Let's come back over here. I think we're good on the move transform behavior. I'm mostly curious to see if the clip is doing what I would expect. So let's go to move transform clip and hooray! It's gone! And now we gotta wait for it to compile before I can test if they'll come back. Trying to think of anything really exciting that's going on right now while I'm waiting for everything to compile. Cool, so that all works. We have our destination, we have our target. All right, so this is where things are going to get complicated. So use manual duration. We want this end to be 1 frame long. We are going to have this. Oh, this is going to be so brutal. So this is going to be 2 frames long. This is going to be a really short timeline. I really can't stress how short this is going to be. Because it's basically meant to be the temporary buffer timeline between the previous timelines and the final one. But I don't want to have like 4 or 5 massive timelines for the final one. Instead, I just want to have one clean timeline that works for all cases, and then I can have 4 very short transitionary timelines. That's what I'm setting up here. So we're going to set this to be 2 frames long. We're going to set this to be 2 frames long. It's just going to be a really, really short timeline. Okay, so we need Cinemachine shot has to be set to this and this, and we want this to be our temp camera. Then we want, you are not supposed to be doing that. Oh dear, that is really not good. We're going to set this to be our phase 3 temp camera. I'm going to do this. Let's go ahead and set this frame to be 2 frames long. We will go ahead and do that. And the question here is, if I hit save, do you want to resize? You do, don't you? Maybe not. Okay. So let's go ahead and we are going to say move transform clip. We want that to be here. So it's going to be 3 frames long. That's how long this animation or this timeline is going to be. In the first frame, we are going to move our transform, our temp camera, to match the, where are you? To match the relaxed phase 2 left camera. Then on the second frame, really? Why are you doing this? Okay, timeout. Play cutscene track. It's not respecting our timeline. Okay. So I probably should say clip duration is equal to that. Okay. So I should probably say if clip dot manual duration if not that, there we go. Then we're going to do this. Okay. Let's go ahead and let that compile. I want to make sure that I'm using the right one. Find all references here. Clip duration, clip use manual duration. Okay, good. Making sure. So it's track asset, play soundtrack. Yes, okay. I'm going to go ahead and go to here and say no. Find all references. Okay, good. Tooltip. If true, tracks will not attempt to restructure. Not restructure, to, what do I want to say here? Will not attempt to set the duration of this clip automatically. There we go. And I'm also going to go ahead and mark this as system.obsolete. And just say should only be used to make sure. Clip duration. That's just to make sure that I don't accidentally use it. All right, let's go ahead and let that compile. Then we're going to check this off and set its duration to be what I want it to be. And then I'm not going to worry about it. But yeah, while that's compiling, cool things that have happened recently. I have recently started watching Final Space. If you're not aware of that, TBS has... I don't think they're all out yet. I thought they were, but I guess they're not. TBS is making a push for more mature animation. And one of the shows that they picked up is a show called Final Space. And it's a cartoon by, I want to say Olin Rogers is his name. He's done some stuff on YouTube. His work's really, really good. The studio he has is they've got a really nice style. But it's a pretty good show. I recommend checking it out. It's on TBS, which is super weird. Like I've never had a reason to tune into TBS, but it seems like they're putting actual pretty good effort into this stuff. So I'm excited to see what they come out with. So I'm going to set this duration to be 1 frame, 2 frames, I guess. Yeah, that's probably fine. Okay. Actually, no. Let's make these last 1 frame. I hope that that's okay. So 1 frame. Hello, Windows threat protection. Okay, so that is my timeline. It is 2 frames long, and it does not do a lot, but it does what I need it to. But I do need to rename it. So I'm going to call this left transition. Okay, come back down here. We're going to change this to final attack transition dash left. Fortunately, I'll be able to just duplicate this because I don't really need it to do anything besides that. Camera, do I want to have a group for this? I don't like having stuff in the root, so I'm going to do that. Cutscenes. Okay, I think we're good. So, first things first, I'm going to take a drink. Alright, so let's go ahead and I'm going to duplicate this. And we're going to rename this transition left hazard. We're going to duplicate this again. Rename that to right. And then we're going to duplicate that one more time. We're going to rename that to right hazard. Okay. I also feel like I should probably just go ahead and call this troll instead of troll combat. Also, these are kind of placeholder, but whatever. The structure is what I'm after. But it's redundant for me to say combat, I think. Because, you know, this is only done in combat, so. Oh, what's going on? There we go. Hopefully renaming doesn't break things, because it very well could. I would not be surprised. Okay. Doing pretty good so far. Okay. God, that's a lot of timelines. Let's see. So we're going to need to go up here to left transition, duplicate this 3 times. Let's go ahead and rename this one to left hazard transition. Okay. Rename both of these to right transition. No, not a lowercase t. Come on. We're going to rename this one to right hazard transition. Okay. Move these both above final timeline. All right. The only thing that really needs to change now is basically the camera stuff. Cutscenes are going to be the same. It's the same cutscene all the time. So left hazard transition can't really do anything with it yet, so I'm actually going to disable you. Right transition. Let's go ahead and set this up. I did mess up. No, I didn't. It's fine. Okay. So I don't need to do that, but I don't need to do that either. I just need to do this. Okay. Go ahead and grab this. Here is, what's this one? Right? Yep. So I want the right camera. Okay. Then our right hazard transition, same thing, just with our right hazard camera. Okay. So now I can move on to our final one, which is our not phase 3 temp camera. Instead, I am going to need a custom one. And I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with this. But for now, we'll go ahead and just call this phase 3 camera. And we'll probably have it be... Do I want to have it move? That makes it awkward. No, actually, no. It's probably fine if the camera moves when I have multiple attacks. I can't really do camera movements in most sections, because if I do that and the player fails something, then it would have to snap into position. But that's not an issue with the multiple attack stuff, because by the time you fail, it will be the end of the camera movement anyway. But that's a moot point, because that's just animation keyframing. That was just kind of me thinking out loud. Okay. So from there, I guess we'll actually keep... both of you are not at the correct field of view. Maybe at 60. Okay. Really, I should just... I'm kind of sad that I can't copy this. We'll go ahead and say troll is our target for both of these things. And do we have priorities? They're all the same. Anything else? Nope. Just besides far clip plane being set to 1000. That's perfectly fine. Alright. We're going to go ahead and save. And now we should be good to set up our final timeline. So let's go to final timeline. And we are going to need to lerp from temp camera to phase 3 camera. We have our main camera set up. We're setting you to phase 3 camera. Go ahead and snap you there. All right, offense section clip. We're going to go down by 1 frame, 299. We're going to set you to be multiple. Failure timeline. We will have to set that up, but I'm not going to worry about it for now. We will fail on an action. That is correct. Fail priority is 0. It's going to be the only one. We will follow target. I guess that target is the main camera. And our fade in duration is, I think, going to be 0.5. Actually, it's going to be pretty fast. Completed alpha will be 0. Complete fade duration will also be 0.5. It's going to, actually, no, it might make that 0.25. Just get like right out of there. Label prefab, of course, will have to be basic attack. And I think what we're going to want to do is, I'm going to say 10 for my attacks. Pretty good overall. I do need to set up support for setting my duration for the attacks. And let's go ahead and open this up. Oh, it's not going to be you. It's going to be under the attack section clip. Let's see. Attack curve, attack count. We're going to come out here. We're going to say serialized field, protected, float, attack duration is equal to 0f. Actually, it's probably going to be something like 3f. Twitch is telling me to send this link to you to update your little app thing in the corner. Oh, the extensions thing? Okay. Huh. Interesting. I wonder why... Okay. Well, I will do... Can I do that live, I wonder? Let me test that real quick. I will make sure that I can get that up. Yeah, looks like everything is set up pretty much the same as I would expect. Um, okay, I think that's all working. Maybe. I don't know. You might try refreshing the page, see if that shows up for you as expected. I did just notice that, yeah, it's not, the option isn't there right now. Interesting. I'm going to try refreshing my page. See if it shows up now. There it is. That seems to be working. Thank you. I don't know why I had to update that, but thank you for letting me know that I needed to. That probably would have gone on for like 5 more streams before I noticed. If I ever did. Okay, so we now have an attack duration. Let's go ahead and tooltip this. Tooltip. How long each attack will be shown. Okay, so this is going to actually change how our attacks behave a little bit. Currently, our attack label doesn't really have a duration that it knows about, but it should be able to take a duration. So if it doesn't have a duration, then it will just stay visible once it fades in until it's told to stop. But if it does have a duration, then it needs to start counting down so that we can automatically have it fade out, recycle itself, then we don't have to worry about it. Oh, wait, maybe I do. Oh, no, that's the fade in duration. Disappointing. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. Although we do have potentially... Did an update for you? Do you have the icon thing at the bottom right? So you can see like previous poll, pick a card and whatnot? Or is it just missing for you? I wonder if maybe it didn't actually get enabled. Oh, hold on. There you go. Try it now. I just changed it. So I think that's better. Like it's definitely the new one now because I have an extra option that I didn't have before. So try refreshing the page again. See if that works. I have no idea what the send an alert does. I'm going to... Oh, okay. Also, my chat is like weirdly behind, which is interesting. Okay. So let's see here. We are going to want to, I'm going to rename this to fade in duration. And then I'm also going to say, no. Hold on. Find all references. Okay, good. I'm only using that here. Let's go ahead and say, comma, float duration is equal to 0f. And what we're going to do there is we're going to keep track of this duration value. If it's not 0, or if it's greater than 0, then we will have it fade out over that amount. Well, it won't fade out over that amount of time. It will fade in, then it will stay at that fully faded in state until our duration is 0 again, and then it will fade out. Okay. So is it not complaining to update anymore? Alright, so that is our combat attack label. I need to actually set this up. So we're going to say protected float. What do I want to say? Fade cooldown? I guess. Fade cooldown. I will set that equal to 0f. And then we are going to say... Actually, no, that's probably... I probably need a bool for that, don't I? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm going to need a bool in addition to this fade cooldown, so I'm going to go ahead and move this down to here. We're going to say protected bool finite duration, maybe? Equal to false. No, it's not. All right. So in start attack here, we are going to go ahead and say attack message is equal to word. And then after that, we will say fade cooldown is equal to duration. Then, what did I call it? Finite duration, because that's such an easy thing to remember. Finite duration is equal to fade cooldown is greater than 0. F question. There we go. Should be good. And let's go ahead and go down here. Do we have an update function that I can use? Yes. All right. If target does not equal null. And then we're also going to go ahead and say if finite duration, we'll say if fade cooldown is greater than 0f. Actually, let's go ahead and say less than or equal to 0f. Finite duration is equal to false. Fade cooldown is equal to 0f. And then we're going to do stop attack. Else, we're just going to say fade cooldown minus equals time dot delta time. Okay. Pretty straightforward there. So, I don't know what this is. The send. So I guess the send a cheer alert just sends bits automatically. That's pretty nice to set that up automatically. I really do need to get more extensions. I just haven't really sat down to really look at the ones outside of what like what you sent me, Scorpio, or what some of the other viewers have sent me. I just need to really comb through that stuff, or make my own Twitch extension. I don't know. We'll see what I gotta do. So if we want to stop the attack, then we could probably just fade it out. I think we could just call stop attack there, and it would be fine. So I just say stop attack. Not stop all coroutines. Stop attack. There we go. Fade out duration. Ooh. Right. I think that's actually going to be a little different. So it's going to be a little awkward because we want to basically send out an event that will be sent to one of our behaviors that will then send out the stop attack call so that all that information is kept in the appropriate place. So let's go up here. Do we have an attack complete? I do have an attack complete. Oh, jeez. I can't really do complete because that's when you type it in. So I guess we would want to have a public event attack event on attack past or on attack would be a delegate, that at least on attack something. Need to do a text quest extension where you can play a little mini game. Yeah, I've been thinking about that. Mostly I thought it would be fun to do that with my avatar guy. Gotta go. All right. Well, thanks for stopping by. Always good to chat. Let's see. On attack. It's not complete. It's not really fail. Like on attack skipped. So I don't even know if I need the on attack began stuff, honestly. So I guess we'll go ahead and scroll down to here. And we'll say on attack skipped. Then pass in this. Okay. Yeah, With that, we'll go to our, let's see, attack section. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. Attack section behavior. All right. We're going to need to scroll down to the very bottom and say fail attack, skip attack. No, not that. On attack complete. So I guess it'll go down to here. Protected, virtual, void, on attack, skipped, combat attack label, and we're just going to say let me think. Okay, so we do that. And we don't do this anymore. All right. So on attack skipped, we'll just simply call label.stop attack, and I think we'll want to remove it from our list of attacks. Let's see, on behavior pause, actions, labels. Began, complete, backspace, stop attack. Oh, do I not? I thought I had a fade out. Complete fade duration. Where are you used? You're done there. Oh, but on actual fade out, it's hard coded. Okay. That probably shouldn't be how that is. Okay, let me think. I don't want to handle this. I suppose... Oof. Go ahead and rename that. I would want this to be a fade out duration. Pretty straightforward. Public float fade out duration is equal to 1F by default. Here, on behavior pause, change that to be fade out duration. Recycle after will be true, and yeah, you know what? I guess we can go ahead and do that, can't we? Let's go ahead and we're gonna say yada 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 yada. On attack skipped, we'll call that. We'll recycle afterwards. And what else do we want? I guess we'll go ahead and remove it from our list of labels because we don't really need to do anything with it after this point. So we'll say label dot on attack backspaced minus equals on attack backspaced. What's the actual order that we're doing this in? Let's also go ahead and say labels I dot on attack skipped minus equals on attack skipped. Okay, probably put that here. Let's go ahead and grab this. Scroll all the way down here. Pretty much just do that. Okay, and then I suppose we would want to say labels.remove label, and then that's it. It should be able to keep track of itself, and we shouldn't have to worry about it. What else do I need to do? I need to assign that listener in the first place. So instead of on behavior pause, we're going to go to on behavior play. We still need to do stance and phase indexes. I have not figured that out yet, because that is way more complicated than I was expecting. But we do need to say if type is equal to multiple, then we will say label on attack skipped plus equals on attack skipped. Doesn't make sense for it to really be listened for if we're not doing the multiple attack type, because they won't ever fire skip otherwise. And I think we're on a decent pace here. Oh, shoot. No, we're not. Because this is all for criteria. Okay. So this is all the code, this entire chunk here. It's basically everything that I would want to have happen if we were of type single. But for multiple, we will have the rect transform stuff that we have to handle. So, that's also going to, oh, geez, that really sucks. Yeah. Oh, man, that sucks a lot. Okay, let's think here. So I'm going to want to do a couple of things. First, I'm going to come down here. I'm going to put a to-do here. I'm also going to get rid of this because I don't need it. I'm going to do big to-do. Spawn attacks over time if set to use multiple type. Okay. Then I'm going to go ahead and clean house up here because we have a fair amount of separation between what's in our attack section clip and what's in our attack section behavior at this point. I still need to set up attack duration, attack curve, and attack count, none of which exist here. And then I also need to set up a rect transform. So we will go ahead and where are we putting these things? We're putting them right below type. Okay. So below type, I'm going to go ahead and say public rect transform multi attack area. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab this. We'll put this back over here. Serialize field. Paste that in. Set it to be protected. Set that to have a tooltip. We're going to say the rect transform to use when spawning attacks. Okay. And then we're going to need some sort of combat utility class, actually, now that I think about it, that lets us comfortably get the words that need to be used so that we can randomly put them or use them. Oh boy. Okay. So this is getting a little more complicated than I was hoping it would be. Excuse me. So, jeez. Yeah, this is just getting really crazy, spiraling out in my head. It all seems so simple. Let's go ahead and grab these things. Should be good after that. We're going to go up here, get rid of these, and you. Make you public across the board. Okay. And after that, we get to the weird stuff. Like the really weird stuff. So, on... jeez. I'm going to say if type is equal to multiple, then we're going to have to do stuff. Jeez, hold on. Playable. Ridiculous. Float t is equal to this. And then we're going to have to say if attack curve dot evaluate at t what does that give me? It gives me a float. Is greater than 1F. Then I need to spawn an attack. Oh, jeez. Woof. Okay. Let's go ahead and come over here. Paste pretty much that entire code in. And yeah, we're going to get all kinds of fun stuff. So I'm actually going to comment out this code because I don't have a way of retrieving the strings that I need to use yet. So I'm going to have to figure out what to do there. So before we get to there, go ahead and get rid of you. And then we are going to go up to here, get rid of this position count, get rid of that. And we don't need this to do anymore because we're doing that in a much smarter way. Okay. So now we need to have both our our offense section and defense section clips set their respective values here. So we're going to say behavior dot what is it, multi-attack area is equal to multi-attack area behavior dot what are they? Attack count, attack curve, and attack duration. Attack count equal to attack count. Behavior dot attack curve is equal to attack curve. Behavior dot attack duration is equal to attack duration. You know, I actually don't even know if I need to pass this attack count now that I think about it, because all we really care about is the curve. I suppose attack count could be useful in the sense that we could make sure that we have the correct number of attacks that we spawn, but ambivalent on that. We'll pass it, might as well for now. Let's go ahead and copy this, go over to our offense section clip, same thing, just paste that in, should be good. And let's see, we are going to want to do what next exactly? So that should set up all of our variables. We do still need to calculate out what the words are going to be on each attack and where they will spawn. So for now, I'm actually going to go ahead and let that compile. Then I'm going to take a drink, and then I'm going to look at what our old combat system was doing. If I was smart, so I'm not that hopeful, I would have made these functions that I'm about to try and do a utility function of some kind, which maybe I did. It really depends. Let's see if I have a rect transforms. I know I have a rect transforms extensions, but did I do something smart? Yay! Oh. Well, that's... Oh, wait, no, here we are. Overlap screen space. That's all I care about. Cool. So, I think that will work. Pretty much we're just going to use the or check to see if rect transforms overlap before we do anything. That way we don't position them in such a way that it's that labels are behind each other, basically. Although, actually, now that I think about it, I don't know if I should care about that. Because at some point, I really do want to have a ridiculous attack combo that's just a bunch of labels, and they're just like constantly popping up and disappearing, and they're all over the place, so you just want to type as many of them as you can. But we'll see. So I might actually not end up worrying about that too much. I will want to figure out how I want to spawn that. Yeah, this is really not going to go well. Request attack area width height. So this is the old combat system. Currently checking what we want. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, that makes sense. Essentially what I was doing is I got the width and height of the rect transform, and then I randomly just picked a point between negative width and negative height. Well, negative width, positive width, and negative height, negative or positive height, so that it just randomly positions it somewhere inside of that rect transform. So that's perfectly fine. Okay. Okay. Although, actually, you know what? Let's go over here. And I'm going to go ahead and say public static vector to rect size, this rect transform, rect will return rect.size. What was the convenience thing? Returns the size of the rect transforms rect. Okay. Trying to keep everything in my head and work. I apologize that I'm slowing down. It's just kind of me thinking through everything all at once again, and that's kind of slowing me down as I try to think about how we're going to approach it. We're going to want to have on attack. Here we are on prepare frame. So I need to say, oh, geez, I don't know what I'm going to have it. So it's just awkward because I have to. It's like half of the code that single uses, and the other half is completely new. But I want it to always parent to that rect transform, otherwise I won't be able to position it very well. And the main thing is I just don't know what attack to use. We don't have that set up yet. So. Woof. For now, I guess it's going to be hard-coded. We are going to get rid of you. We're going to get rid of you. And we will simply say label prefab will be spawned to our multi-rect or multi-attack area. Okay. The attack will have just a default one called test. And then we will say on begin attack, blah, blah, blah. Let's go ahead and move this up to here. Paste that in. Don't need this because it's impossible for us to have gotten there. Which means that we don't actually need this because it's impossible for us to have gotten there. And we are also going to want to say if type is equal to single, then we get to do all of that. Don't care about it otherwise. So, okay, let's go ahead and go back down here to multiple and label type. What was I doing with label type? Label type. We don't care about this because there won't be a hazard check. I don't think. I will comment it out actually, just in case there is one. But I don't think we're ever going to have multi-type have hazards, especially because that would be such a dick move to have them randomly put in there. But that just means I'm obviously going to have to do it at some point. In any case, if follow target, label that face target, that's all fine. Labels.add. Okay, I think we are good. Oh, and we need to say attack duration. Okay, now. On top of that, we are going to say, get rid of that to do. I think, is that actually all I needed to do? That might legitimately be all I needed to do. Okay. So we do have some things to keep in mind here. So currently, the way the curve is set up for the attack curve, that is a normalized value from 0 to 1. I don't actually know if I should instead have its curve. That's so awkward. So this is a value between 0 and 1, which is fine if I'm doing normalized, but it means that I have to do that math in my head. So when you see this first keyframe is always going to be at 0, so as soon as the clip starts is when that attack would happen. But when is this one? So it's listed at about a little bit over 0.1, which if our clip is 10 seconds long means that that one will start 1 second in. But if our clip is 12 seconds long, then that will start about 1.2 seconds in, roughly. And it's just a little awkward. But the alternative is that I would have to manually calculate the spacing of all of this and then apply offsets, and oof, that is just not going to be okay. So I guess we'll keep it as normalized for now. That's probably fine. So we're going to have a very uniform spacing right here, and I think that's okay. Let's go ahead and set our duration here to be about 8 seconds. That seems fair. Move this to here. That to there. Move you to here. What about our characters? Go ahead and move that. We are not going to invert. We are going to always follow. Come on, work with me here. We will, of course, set you to be the troll, and the target will be our main camera. Okay. And our offense section clip, 39. I think we are good to test. So let's try it. I'm sure it will not work, but I think we are in a good position to at the very least test it. So before we can do anything else, we do need to, of course, set up our proper actions. So this is going to go, this is our left timeline. Yep, relax left. So this will go to our left transition. Okay. Then we are going to want to have our right transition. Oh, no, wrong thing. Right. Which, combat, come over to here, is time out. Probably need to make you 19. Okay. Let's go ahead and assign right transition to its success. Let's go to our right hazard. Same thing. Oh. Oh, right. I did not do anything for this, did I? Well, let's try it. See what happens. We don't have a failure timeline for that either, but that's fine. All right, let's go to our final. I think that's actually all I needed. So, all right, I think we're good to test. So let's collapse everything. And oh wait, no, I'm not. I am not good to test because the final timeline here doesn't have our rect transform. Oh crap! Right. I gotta change our editor. I hate it when I do that. Okay. Attack curve. I gotta set up duration and also. Oops. So this is gonna be our multi-attack area. We have attack duration. Okay. Let's go ahead and paste you and you. Come up here, attack curve. We're just gonna paste you there, and there. Attack curve. Come over to here, multi-attack area. Okay. Next, we are going to have to set all this fun stuff up. So we're going to go ahead and say editor GUI dot, layouts dot property field, and then m multi-attack area. Okay, that's good. And then after all that fun stuff, we're going to come down here and we're going to say editor GUI layout dot property field m attack duration. Okay, and let's let those compile. While it's happening, I'm going to take a drink. So that should all work now. But we do need to set up, and wow, really, just not liking that, huh? Okay, what did I call it? What did I call it that I spelled wrong? Oh, I didn't. Okay, I could have sworn that I did copy that, but I guess I didn't paste it in. Okay. Did I do something stupid then? I might have done something stupid. No, it seems fine. Okay. Let's try that again. It's just because I did something dumb there. Forgot to set all that stuff up in enable. There we go. Okay. So we have our multi-attack area, rect transform to use when spawning attacks, number of attacks to generate when attacks spawn, one spawn attack. Okay, so the way this will work is, should I do no that? Yes, that should be fine. So yeah, that should work. So this is going to be a very equidistant thing. I should have 10 attacks show up. And it's not set up properly right now in the sense that this final attack, actually, pretty much like all of those attacks will last longer than they should. Actually, they'll probably get cleaned up at the end, but they won't last their full duration, is the point. So that's going to add some amount of weirdness to this in the sense that I need to probably, if my section is set to use multiple, I need to manually adjust its duration so that there is at least... Oh, wait, no, that'd be crazy. Why would I do that? Well, I was going to say I need to manually adjust this duration, or automatically adjust that duration so that it's basically as long as up to the final attack plus the attack duration, so that I don't like look at this and say like, okay, it's all going to stop here, and then I have an attack that shows up for like half a second. I would prefer to avoid that if at all possible, but we'll get into that workflow. That's a quality of life thing, so I'm not too worried about it right now. Main thing is just to see if it works, and I'm pretty sure that it will do something at the very least. Let's turn off our preview, go off to here, and let's test it out. So I should be able to... Oh, that was not good. I got a null reference. That never makes me happy. Oh, right. Crap! Time out. I also messed up. So I haven't actually set up the thing yet for the multi-attack area. And the reason that I haven't set that up is because I just said it was a rect transform, but it needs to actually be an exposed property. Exposed reference. Over here, come back to here. Okay, final references. Change this to resolve graph get resolver. Okay, let's go ahead and copy that and save it. Over to here, paste that in. Good. Let that compile. Figure out why I had a null reference show up, which is always disconcerting. And then I need to set up my rect transform. I'm very frustrated that I have to do it this way because it means that I just have to have a canvas for every single multi-attack. Ugh. Which is not the best, really. But it'll work. Alright. So for final timeline, let's go ahead and make a canvas canvas, 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 canvas. It's going to be world space. Camera, I guess, would just be main camera. And let's see, we don't have a canvas scaler. We don't have a graphic ray caster because we don't care about that. And we do need to set this canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and set our scale to be 0.01 across the board. Let's go ahead and zero our position out so I can more easily manage this. And jeez, I guess we would want to have this set to rotate to face the player, wouldn't we? So, woof. That's all kinds of suck. Okay. Well, let's set our width to be 10. 100. Just 100, I guess. Nope. Not quite that. So, yeah, 1,000. Really, that seems way too big. Okay. 500? Too much. 300 by 300? Seems fair. Couple of things. Yes. So we're going to move this to here. We're going to move this over to here. Probably fine to just do that. I am going to call this our multi-attack area. Hit save there, and then I'm going to also select our final timeline. Go to here. Boop, come over to here. But that's not all I needed to do. I also need to set up I need another playable track. And I need to have the canvas that we just added always look at our camera. So always follow. Our rotate object is going to be this, and then our target is the main camera. Now, in addition to that, I think that means I can actually turn off follow target for the attacks, so that they don't try to, because they would essentially be setting their rotation to be almost the exact same as the canvas, which I don't think we need. So, okay. Now I think everything is set up. Let's go ahead and, I guess, playable? No, I don't think I need that. That was for testing purposes. Okay. All right, so once that compiles, we should be good to give this a test and see if things actually do what we expect. I just apologize, but it's been 2 hours and I have just been coding. I haven't even really pressed play because it's all been editor stuff. Okay. I think we're good. Excuse me. This is just not going to go well. Let's clear this all. Collapse you, and you. So let's go ahead and hit play. So we should be able to get all the way to the troll. And we should be able to get the multiple attacks showing up, I think. So we're going to go left first. Okay. So the question here is, anything happening? Where did you come from? Priority, huh? Priority. You fail? No. Okay, that's fair, yes. So we've been set to use the appropriate camera, which means that we're in the right phase. I bet if I play here, yep, Okay. Oof. That that could mean that our curve is not evaluating as I would expect. Let's go ahead and stop playing. I'm going to do a couple things. Get rid of this priority. And then I'm also going to go ahead and go to our attack behavior. And when we should spawn an attack, I'm going to send out a log. So let's go ahead and say let's debug T. And then I will debug test here. Wow, I can't type tonight. Multi-test. Okay. So that should properly initialize our attack. And I guess I'll also go down here and log when attack skipped is called. Oh, right. And while I'm in here, when we call stop attack, I probably should set all of those things to be false. So let's go to stop attack, stop attack, here we are. I'm going to say finite duration is equal to false, and then fade cooldown is equal to 0f. Should be good, and once that compiles we can test this. I have to assume that it's just not evaluating when our attack should spawn. I don't really know why that's the case. My assumption would be that it's not evaluating at the specific moment where we've set attacks to spawn in, and therefore it just kind of like skips over them. That would be very infuriating, but I wouldn't put it past Timeline to behave like that. So let's find out. Okay. Let's go to battle. Left. Okay, so we are... I mean, we're booking it, but no attacks have been spawned, huh? Jeez. Where's this false coming from? Oh, that's something else. Wait, why are you being called there? That's really awkward. So sometime around here, I would have expected us to get an attack evaluation. God, that sucks. I mean, it's just we're moving in small enough increments that I would think that it would actually get it. But we're already almost halfway to it, and now we're over halfway, and nothing has come out, which is not great. I mean, the curve does get set, right? In our, let's see, defense section clip. We said our attack curve is equal to attack curve. What about our offense? Attack curve is equal to attack curve. Okay. Do we not do anything with this? Yeah, there it is. If attack curve dot evaluate at t is greater than... Oh my god. That's why. Because I did something stupid again. Okay. So that's not too bad then. Well, hopefully that'll fix it. It was because I was saying if the value was greater than 1, and I had none of the values were set to be above 1. They're set to be at 1. So let's try that. Hmm. Well, obviously it'll be perfect this time because I'm infallible and I've never made a mistake. That's certainly not great. Okay, so we paused. Are you spawning? Potentially the same issue. Yeah. Okay. So same problem. It's probably just not evaluating, which should literally be impossible. It should not be possible for it to evaluate and skip one of these attacks because it's going by a frame by frame basis. So unless, and maybe this is the case, so unless my keyframing is set at a sub 60 frame rate position, then this stuff should be picked up. God, that's annoying. Well, I don't know what to do about this. There was like a end all approach that I had. I really wanted to avoid. That basically involved me manually keeping track of what the last frame that I did evaluate was, and then I could basically say, okay, is this keyframe that I specified, is its time less than or equal to the normalized time of this playable? And if so, then I am going to increment my counter by 1. I'm going to activate an attack, and then I'm going to activate an attack if it's greater than 1 or greater than or equal to 1 for its value, and then I'm just going to iterate the attack number and see what the next one does, and then I'll just kind of creep forward that way. Because that way, even if I overshoot it and I don't evaluate it right when it's at 1, then it won't matter because it'll just look back and be like, oh, I should have gotten this. So, okay. Swallowed wrong. So, sorry. Right. That's really not great. Well, fortunately, this is why attack count is great. So let's go ahead and go up to here. We're going to need to say, first up, stop this. Second up, crap, I don't remember where it was. I had something doing playable.isValid, and I don't recall. Here we are. I don't need that debug in there anymore. And should be good. Okay. So we're going to go to our attack section behavior. I'm going to keep manual track of my attack index. So let's go ahead and come down here. We're going to say protected int attack index is equal to 0. Actually, no, I'll call this multi attack index and multi attack index. Not exactly what I would want to do. I guess I would call it multi attack curve index because it's not really the attack. I have to also get the frames that are not attack frames. That way I can iterate properly. So let's go ahead. We're going to come up to here. We're going to say multi-attack curve index is equal to 0. We're going to come down to here on behave. Prepare frame. Here we are. So all we're going to do is say if t is greater than or equal to attack curve dot get keys. Oi. Attack curve. Multi-attack curve index. That's what I did. Dot time. So if that's the case, then we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to say we don't actually care about this anymore, so I'm going to move this. It's very annoying that I need to do this. But we're going to say if, well, first up, I guess we'll just say multi-attack curve index plus plus at the very end. And then we'll say if, yes, cat, I see you. Say if attack curve dot keys at multi-attack curve index dot value is greater than or equal to 1f, then we're going to do that code. Else we don't really care and we just want to iterate. So let's let that compile. And then I will pay attention to the cat while that's happening because she just has such a terrible, terrible life. Don't you, cat? Yep, exactly. Alright. You gotta move, cat. I can't see if the compile's done. Okay. So, now, hopefully that will no longer be a problem. I say that knowing full well that it probably will be, but let's see if it works. If it does work, I'll actually kind of be pleased with myself. Just be like, yes, I got around not being able to use float precision in the most hacky way possible. Okay, we're going to go to battle. Aw, yeah! We got 1. Is it just the 1? It feels like it should be more. It's okay, so it is more. I just, there it is. There's the second one. Or that's the third one. Where's the second one? Oh yeah, that's the second one. First one would be at the very top. Cool. So that's spawning. It's not spawning them in the correct position. They are clearly wrong. But oh, that makes sense. It's because I didn't apply an offset. Duh. Okay. Cool. Well, for the time being, I'm going to do a couple of things. One, I'm going to position this so that is not even close. I'm going to pet my cat. And then 2, I'm going to set my Y position to be 1.5, I think. And we're also going to go ahead and change our multi-attack area so it is roughly, let's go to 1. Wow. Really? Okay. And then we're going to move it back by 1. It should draw. Okay, now it will draw over everything. And it should be fine with that. I just wanted to make sure that I get almost everything in there. That should be a little bit better. All right, so we'll save that. We're going to come up here. And then we are going to go ahead and say vector 2 size is equal to multi-area or multi-attack area dot rect size. Okay. Then we're going to say label dot anchor. Ooh, right. Ooh. Okay. Dot cache transform dot anchored position is equal to new vector 2 random dot range negative size dot x divided by 2f to positive size dot x divided by 2f. Okay, followed by random dot range. Stop with the random range crap. I hate that you still have that unity. Then we're we're going to say negative size dot y divided by 2f, followed by positive size dot y divided by 2f. Okay. Save that. Should be good. That should have us spawn those attacks in random positions. It's not going to do any sort of boundary checks, so we might get some overlap. But that's not really too much of a concern for these multi-attack stages, just because there's gonna be a ton of them on screen. I mean, we're gonna fit 10 in about 8 seconds. Let's go ahead and play again. Let's see if it works. I'm confident this time. Plus, I have a cat on my keyboard, so what could possibly go wrong? Yeah, cat. Sorry, can't do that while I'm working. Okay, we go to battle. Get to our choice. We go left. This is an attack. Dodge. Nice, nice, nice. And nice! Alright, we got it. So we have multiple attacks now spawning in. Obviously, they're all using the same word, which means that our next stage is going to be, or our next step, is going to be setting up a list of words that we can retrieve based on the attack or the weapon that you have equipped. And I think I have something like that already. I could be wrong. We're going to have to look at our old combat system. So we're going to look at, let's just go over here. TQ combat. Okay. And, oh boy. Yeah, this is going to be fun. Let's see. Public, public, public. I don't think I need any of this, but I do need our combo area. Player combo background. No, we don't need you. Where are you? Intro cutscene, victory cutscene. Ah, here we are. Player attack area. Find all references. Request, enemy attack pattern, that's just this, okay. Start attack, which I believe, here we are. Player attack info, dot attack messages, here we are. Combat escape, item not used as equipped, here we are, okay. Combat data, dot equip info, unequip info. I believe, if I peek this, this has the information that I need. Yes. Display during the attack. RID should be a list of attacks. Yes. Okay. So let's go ahead and let that sit for a second. I'm going to go to my client under resources, and we should have combat info here. Then under player info, hands, attack pattern, or not, attack messages. That's how we're doing it right now. Okay. That is hands down. Ah, crap. So I did not anticipate player equipment in the sense of changing attack patterns. But no, that's that might not matter. But I want to have that. So I'm going off on this kind of like awkward mumbling phase because if the player has different equipment equipped, then they might need to have different multiple attack outputs. And what I mean by that is maybe have different attack patterns. But it might just be simpler to have just the words change. But then I can't really do combat effects differently. Well, that's problematic now, isn't it? Okay. I might have to call it a little bit of an early night. I know we've been streaming for a little over 2 hours now, but I think I might have to sit down and sketch out how I want this to work. Because obviously this is the old system, what we're looking at right now, and it's needlessly complicated with tons of crap that it has to handle. And I don't think we're gonna need it to be this ridiculous. Like I don't need all of this really. So yeah, yeah. Ugh, God, I made this so ridiculously complicated. So I think we're gonna call that a night. We got pretty far. We have multiple attacks spawning in. They are spawning in within a given rect, and we have the actual. Well, the loop isn't set up yet. We don't have multiple attacks functioning yet. We just have them spawning in. But we're really close to getting this working. And once this is done, then the core combat loop will be revised completely. It'll be a lot more dynamic. It'll look a lot better. It's just we got to get these last couple of humps done. So, all right, announcements. Nothing off the top of my head, real quick. Quick reminder, though, next weekend I am going to be showing at Anime Central up in Chicago, well, around Chicago. So I'm not going to be doing my Devstream next Saturday, obviously. Instead, I will be showing my game off and hopefully getting good feedback. And hopefully I can get this combat stuff done so I can set up the combat scene and have a new combat system to test out there, but it's looking like we might be getting that deadline a little too close. So we'll see what happens there. But I think we're going to call that a night. So, as always, I want to thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you all next time.